Well, last time, Carmen decided she's going to hold on. Not only hold on to her life and hold on through the Molasses Flood, but hold on to America. Let's see how that happens. Chapter 14. The next evening, around 6 p.m., the Grosso's apartment, North End. Carmen sat in a chair watching Mrs. Grosso cook up a storm. The kids were bouncing off the walls. The apartment was filled with delicious smells, garlic and tomatoes and milky melted cheese. Everyone was excited for the special dinner Mrs. Grosso was making in honor of Carmen leaving the hospital. Best of all, Mr. Vita was joining them too. He was finally back from Connecticut. Mr. Grosso had gone to meet him at the train station. "When is Mr. Vita coming with Carmen's present?" Frankie asked. It was the third time someone had mentioned a present for Carmen. "Shh," Tony said, slugging Frankie's arm. "The present is a surprise." "You shh," Frankie said, giving Tony a shove. "I want a present," Teresa whined. "My present," wailed Marie. Mrs. Grosso looked up from the pot. "Basta! Enough! Tony, please take everyone into the bedroom. Make sure the beds are made." "But, Mama—" "Go," Mama said. Tony looked at Carmen, who could only shrug helplessly. She wanted to help him with the kids, but the doctor had warned that Carmen had to rest her leg. Mrs. Grosso had ordered her to stay put in a chair. Tony herded the kids into the bedroom. The door closed, and Mrs. Grosso looked up at Carmen with a relieved smile. "Some peace," Carmen smiled back. Tell her now, Carmen thought. They were finally alone. Now was their chance to tell Mrs. Grosso that she wasn't going back to Italy. Carmen cleared her throat. She was afraid Mrs. Grosso would be mad, that she wouldn't understand, but Carmen still had to tell her. "Mrs. Grosso, I need to talk to you." "Yes, dear," she said. Carmen took a breath and blurted it out. "I know about the plan for me to go back to Italy." Mrs. Grosso's eyes widened in surprise. Carmen swallowed hard, but didn't lose her nerve. "I'm sorry, but I overheard you and Mr. Grosso talking about the ship. I know you want me to go back to Italy to be with Nona." "Carmen." "I'm sorry, but I've decided. I want to stay here." She sat taller in the chair. There, Carmen had done it. Mrs. Grosso rushed over. She bent down so she was eye to eye with Carmen. "Carmen, we never said you were going back to Italy. You aren't getting on any ship." "But I heard you say—" Carmen's words were cut off by the sound of footsteps climbing the stairs and Mr. Grosso's booming voice. "We're back!" The bedroom door burst open, and the kids spilled out. Carmen and Mrs. Grosso would have to finish their talk some other time. Tony rushed over to Carmen. He beamed at her. He looked like he was about to burst with excitement. "I hear them!" Frankie cried. The little girls were jumping up and down. What was going on? Carmen knew the kids liked Mr. Vita, but you'd think Babe Ruth and the Red Sox were coming for dinner. The apartment door swung open. Mr. Grosso strode in, followed by Mr. Vita. The room was strangely quiet, but the air seemed to crackle. Carmen noticed that nobody was looking at Mr. Vita. They were all looking at her. And then someone else appeared in the doorway. Who is it? A smiling, gray-haired woman whose eyes blazed like candles. Carmen blinked, sure she was dreaming. But then, before she realized it, she'd leaped out of the chair. She was rushing forward, hurt leg and all. Two strong arms came around her in a crushing hug. It was Nona. Yay! So I guess Nona was going on a ship to America. "I missed you so much," Nona said a few minutes later when she and Carmen were alone in the bedroom, when they'd finally stopped hugging and crying. "I wrote to Mrs. Grosso. Mr. Vita was kind enough to come to Italy to help me make the journey, so he wasn't in Connecticut. So there had been a secret plan, just not the one Carmen imagined." "Did you come here to bring me home?" she asked Nona, suddenly worried. Nona leaned forward, brushing the hair from Carmen's eyes. She shook her head. "I think this is your home, Tesoro," she said. "Your papa brought you here, and I know how sad the Grossos would be if you left, especially that Trotolino, Tony." Carmen looked at Nona. Had it really been 4 years since they'd been together? How had Carmen lived without Nona? "Will you stay here with me?" Carmen asked. Anything was possible, right? Nona smiled. "For a while. We'll see how I like it." Carmen hugged Nona again. She breathed in Nona's familiar smell of lemons and flowers and the sea and the village where Carmen was born. She felt a pang in her heart as she realized how much she missed Italy. Of course, she wanted to go back there, just not now, and not forever. Could she and Nona have two homes with an ocean in between? She opened her mouth to ask, but there was pounding on the door, the restless, excited voices calling to them. Come on, we're hungry. I want to sit next to Nona for dinner. No, I do. Nona stood up. We better get out there, she said with a wink. They walked through the door holding hands, holding on tight. There would be plenty of time for Nona and Carmen to talk about what was ahead. Right now, the table was set, dinner was hot, and their family was waiting for them. Oh. So she survived, and good things are happening. Now there's still more to the book, so keep reading. Next time I will read you a little more about the facts related to this story. Remember, this is historical fiction, but this, as we know, actually happened.